Greetings, folks, and welcome to today's show. Our guest today is Dr. Michael Torrence, who, as of May the 1st, became the new president of Motlow College. And we want to welcome him, welcome you to the community and to the show. And so we want to find out something about Dr. Torrence and what he's up to at Motlow. So let's begin, if we will, by asking you to give the folks a little summary of your background.
Okay, well, I'm from Richmond, Virginia originally, and by way of Volunteer State Community College within the Tennessee Board of Regents College System of Tennessee, I find my way to Motlow State Community College here in Tullahoma, Lynchburg, Moore County, and I've continued to say that I feel like I've been hitting the head with a rainbow with the beauty and expanse of the county, as well as the way that I myself and my family, when they've been here, have been welcomed by the community. My background extends from starting off as a student athlete, so that's how I really got engaged in leadership as an opportunity to champion some things for us as student athletes. Well, I know I don't look like it anymore. My girth is a little bit different than it used to be, but I did used to play basketball, and I was a point guard at South Dakota State University. Okay. And I'm happy to say that we were very successful during my time in my tenure there. But through supports of student athletes getting engaged with the NCAA for study skills, and Skills USA was an instrument that I got engaged in as well. I found myself in the front of administrators and instructors, professors, talking about the importance of making sure that student athletes had the same kind of support that was necessary for us to be successful. Fast forward, I finished up my English degree at South Dakota State in about 3 years, and I had a great advisor who talked to me about getting a graduate degree, and I said, well, what's that? So they shared with me what that was and offered to pay for that as long as I was a teaching assistant. So that's where I began teaching at the collegiate level. Completed that and moved back home for a little while. Spent some time working with children, specifically basketball as a precursor to leadership and team building and things like that. And my high school coach, Michael Sutton, became the head coach at Tennessee Technological University. And that's how I got into the PhD program at Tennessee Tech. Mm-hmm. He asked me, what would you like to do, coach or go to school? And I said, well, can I do both? So he agreed to allow me to do that. And after the first year, I made a decision that my PhD was more important to me than coaching basketball. My first job after spending some time in Europe, I went to school and did my data collection in Poland. So I moved back to Pennsylvania and began my work as a college employee. And fast forward to 2013, I had the wonderful opportunity to come in work at Volunteer State Community College as the Assistant Vice President of Academic Affairs, where when you do what is asked of you, and I think that I did it competently, you get an opportunity to do other things, and that led to me being able to be responsible for more and more, and prepared me to do the work that I'm doing today at Motlow.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, with that, folks, let's take a short commercial break, and we'll come back and get into things at Motlow.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. but you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We're visiting today, folks, with Dr. Michael Torrence, who is the new president of Motlow, and we've had a chance to meet him, and now we want to talk some about what's happening at Motlow.
Yes.
Dr. Torrence, I would imagine you've got one or two or three or four things you'd like to be sure and accomplish during your tour here. Run over them briefly for us.
Well, we have the good fortune of being associated with the Achieving the Dream Network. It's a consortium of about 250 institutions, community colleges specifically across the United States, that's focused on student success. So student success is definitely one of those metrics. Additionally, increasing and expanding our infrastructure in the areas of IT and data. And the reason that data is important and that infrastructure is important, to be able to tell your story, to share your story, internally and externally. It's very, very important that you can pull your own information and that it's as close to real time as possible. And you need the personnel who can help you do that. And we do have the cadre of folks at Motlow currently that can do those tasks. But I know that we probably need to look at how do we provide them with additional support in both of those areas. Workforce development, of course, that is very, very important.
Workforce development, yeah.
Yes, sir.
We get a lot of squawk these days out of industry that says we're not giving them qualified students.
Right, right. So, I retort right back to them and talk about the importance of. We know that we're providing them with skilled and upskilled for those who are coming back to us who are underskilled, being adult, so returning back to school. So we upskill those adults and we skill the high school students that come to us. So they're prepared with skill. Oftentimes we continue to hear about soft skills, shaking a hand, looking a person in the eye, and the comportment that is necessary to be successful in the 21st century economy. So we're moving towards and making sure we're not just having conversations about how do we make a student work ready. We're getting them job ready, but we make them work ready so they can go in and be competent and poised to do the work that they need to do.
Come to work on time.
Exactly.
Stay for the day.
Stay for the full day.
And work while you're there.
And work while you're there. So the other part of that, so we're making them work ready. We also need to talk about making them life ready. And I think that life readiness ties into those soft skills. So the first year experience program that we have at Motlow State addresses quite a bit of the information that students need to know, as well as the skills that they need to develop. In middle schools and high schools, I think they're doing what they call great shakes, where business and industry members come in and shake their hands and talk to them about resume building, time management. I don't know if anyone writes checks anymore. I still do, but most of them are swiping cards, but financial literacy. So having conversations with students about that, as well as the returning adults, so the promise students and the reconnectors. We're doing those things to offset the commentary from business and industry that they're not prepared to be in their spaces. I heard a funny joke, and it depends on the lens you look at this. Someone said to me the other day that if they could have a person come in that wore shoes and had their pants pulled up and spoke in complete sentences, they'd make them a manager. Now, I know that was really, some people may find that off color or whatnot, but it was really speaking to the fact that there is opportunity for young people and those returning adults who want to go to work. We're just going to assist them and make sure that they're ready to get back and do that work well.
Their appearance and conduct is very key.
Yes, sir.
To,
absolutely.
To their success. Yeah. The workforce development, I think, the one thing that I don't know whether it's getting emphasized enough or not, but what's going on in the workforce is becoming more and more technical.
Yes.
More and more technological, and the training has to be geared to that. Speak to that a little bit. How are you transitioning into the more high-tech skills that they need to have?
Yes. So when we consider areas like healthcare, health sciences, advanced manufacturing, robotics, even the liberal arts with digital humanities and social sciences, when you think about the impact or how does the internet or IT touch just about everything that we do, we know that we need to provide instruction and professional development for our teachers and our professors, instructors, as well as our staff, to make sure that they're prepared to look at curriculum and make the changes that they feel that need to be made so that we're preparing that student to be work ready and life ready. When we think about the Internet of Things, and that is how everything just about today is touching the Internet or utilizing some facet of the Internet, whether it be manufacturing, agriculture, and in the health science sectors, even construction. I've heard about autonomous vehicles in a place we were talking about in California that are driving around and finding divots in the roads. And it's an autonomous vehicle, which means there is no one in that vehicle. It's being controlled remotely, and they're filling the divots. There's also in agriculture where the combine that feeds the livestock is timed and utilized via a mobile device. Yeah. So preparing our faculty is just as important.
IT has come to agriculture as well.
Yes, sir. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
You just mentioned in passing the term advanced industry. What does that mean, and how are you being equipped in the classroom with what it takes to teach the kids the technology that's coming along?
Great question. So we recently received a National Science Foundation grant, Dr. Khalil Tantawi, for the college, but specifically he's received a grant for mechatronics, and that grant helps us focus on training others who teach mechatronics to do it better and stay up and current on the technologies that are utilized. We also utilize various technological literacies, such as smartphones, the software that we're using now to instruct, as well as sending our faculty out to have conversations about open educational resources, free resources that offset costs, and students can actually access the information via their mobile devices.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the stuff you're doing in mechatronics, you got to be trying to push some of that back down into the secondary school level, back into the high school level.
Correct.
How do you do that, and how do you get the equipment? Are we stepping up to that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not free, of course, and the cost. We're actually trying to make sure that we look at ways to offset a piece of equipment that would traditionally cost us upwards of $360,000. Is there a way that we can partner with business and industry locally to help us build the same kind of equipment to get to the same type of skills that are necessary for their companies, and either we can build it with our students or they can build it for us at almost half of the cost.
You're building the equipment.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the high school level?
So at the high school level, specifically Warren County and Oakland currently, we have partnerships with them as we've created a middle college through and for mechatronics. Yeah. And we have equipment in those spaces. And Dr. Tantawi and this NSF grant will allow us to instruct those instructors and give them the necessary skills that they need so that they can prepare the students that are finishing. Hopefully, they have the opportunity to, and they do have the opportunity to finish with their degree when they finish high school.
Okay. Well, we need to cut off a minute and take a break, folks, and we'll come back and pick up where we're leaving off.
Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has proudly served your auto rental for over 30 years. Check out this huge selection to choose from. Small car, mid-size car, full-size car, crossover vehicle, SUV, minivan, pickup trucks, 12 and 15 passenger vans. Whether big or small, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has them all. Stop by our 2 locations to serve you, Tullahoma and in Winchester. And remember, my question is, why rent anywhere else?
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
We're back, folks. We're talking today with Dr. Michael Torrence, who is the new president of Motlow College as of the 1st of May. And, of course, Motlow, as you remember, includes all of these satellite campuses around, McMinnville, Fayetteville, Smyrna, and he's heavily involved in all of those. We were talking about mechatronics when we took the break, and the fact that they just received a humongous grant from the National Science Foundation. And so we were drilling a little bit on how we get advanced learning, if you will, which is the recognizing the fact that industry is getting more and more technical, and we have to prepare the students for that. And we had started touching on, maybe there's more, maybe we've touched on it enough, about getting the tools for training in that area back down into the high school level, and where the money's coming from. And you mentioned, I think, that you've got a pretty serious program going on involving the schools themselves in building equipment rather than having to buy at the retail value.
Yes.
Address that a little bit more.
So partnering with business and industry, the important part of economic development and being able to fulfill their need for a skilled workforce is we both have skin in the game, so to speak. And what that means is talking to them about our needs. And when you're in a room full of folks who are sent to these committees to make decisions, there's nothing wrong with making the ask and letting them know that we want to build the workforce you need, but there has to be some more creative solutions to get the equipment in the hands of the 12th grader, the 11th grader, and even building bridge programs that prepare those students that have the right acumen and interest in the 8th and 9th grade to let them know here's a pathway for you. Not just you're going to get a diploma when you graduate, but also this diploma, this training that you're going to get, this skill is going to lead to employment. And I think we all want to be joyful and happy with the work that we do, and creating pathways that do that and recognizing early on how to help that student stay engaged in that process. It takes all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having industry involved with the school system to make this equipment available, we need to be reminded that mechatronics came to Tullahoma because the industries in
Yes,
the
sir.
McMinnville area coughed up the money initially to
Yes.
buy the basic equipment to get the program going. The other one, and it was industry demands over there, as I recall, that got the whole thing started. And
Yes.
they coughed up $250,000, $350,000 to get them going. So that partnership is very critical.
And there's more to come.
Yeah.
There's more to come.
And when we talk about workforce development, we also need to be reminded that having a competent workforce helps us to attract new industry. If they won't come in if they can't find capable workers. So
Yes, sir.
that's another critical area. Well, let's talk about, you mentioned in one of the articles I read about paying some additional non-traditional learners. What are you addressing there? What do we?
So the non-traditional learner is the worker who has been in a distribution center. Maybe they've been working at a grocery store, Walmart, in any job where we traditionally called it blue-collar jobs. And they want to take the next step and move into supervisory positions, or they want to move into a different type of job altogether. So the technical colleges in the state of Tennessee and the community colleges offer certificates as well as associate and applied degrees that lead to them being able to do that. So providing them with the access, when we go back and talk about the equipment and the bridge programs for those students who are 8th graders and high school age, it's also about access for those who are coming to us as adults from a profession over their last 10, 20 years, and they want to move beyond that. So making sure that we can show them exactly what the landscape of the 21st century employee looks like and what skill sets they need to have is very, very important. And we're doing that. So in the area of cyber defense is a good example, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, and there are those of us who are interested in the soft sciences, such as English and history, because we need all kinds of workers to make sure that we're taking care of society and our communities.
It does help to be able to spell and to speak correctly, doesn't it?
It does a little bit. You still have to sign your name.
Yeah. And I think we probably don't emphasize enough that people starting off in one job level, and that job level is going to continue to increase in technical requirements and requiring them to keep up. So
Yes.
again, we're back to lifelong learning, aren't we?
We are.
We're never going to graduate from school anymore, folks. And in that regard, you're paying some attention to online teaching also.
Yes.
Talk
Yes.
a little about that.
Well, I think some of the members of the community are aware of my passion for online learning, and my commitment is beyond talking about it. I currently sit on the board of the Online Learning Consortium, and that group is focused specifically on bettering online education and expanding it. And I always caution and give the disclaimer that it is not the intent to move 100% away from the importance of having a person in front of you to instruct you, because there's something to be said about being able to connect to the person who's instructing you and actually being able to go to their office and have a conversation. But accessibility to education, especially in areas that are remote or rural, or on the basis of someone's own ability, whether they are, maybe someone's in a wheelchair and can't get to where they need to go, or if someone doesn't have a vehicle to get to one of our brick and mortar campuses, being able to access education and get that certificate or degree via online is growing and growing over the last 2 decades.
Yeah, it's interesting that the use of online teaching has even moved down into the high schools.
Yes, sir.
Well, a lot of the work they're doing is on the computer now. Well, let's see. We're going to run out of time. You've also mentioned trying to get a partnership going between you and the technical schools and the four-year schools.
Yes.
And,
yes.
What does that mean?
Of interest to all of Tennesseans, no matter what county you live in, no matter what township you live in, no matter what city you live in, is connections. And when the leadership of the technical colleges, the community colleges, and the four institutions are committed to creating pathways that lead to stackable credentials as well as to employment, we're doing a better service for the people that are in our communities. And taking a regional perspective on doing those things and connecting with President Laura Monks, John Mandrell, Warren Locks, and Myra West is very, very important.
Okay. Well, with that, folks, guess what? We've run out of time, as we frequently do. So we're going to have to take a short commercial break and wrap up.
It's football time in Tennessee, and nobody tackles the competition like the Russell Barnett Automotive family. With 6 locations to serve you, certified collision center, over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from at russellbarnett.com, hometown auto rental, limited lifetime powertrain warranty on certain units, certified pre-owned units. Too many reasons to mention why. Keep asking the question, why buy anywhere else?
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
We've been talking today, folks, with Dr. Michael Torrence, who is the incoming president of Motlow. And Dr. Torrence, I want to thank you for taking time to be with us. And also, is there a short message you'd like to deliver direct to somebody out there?
Oh, absolutely. There are lots of somebodies this message is for. And it's the importance of the community, and the success of our community is built on all of our backs. And I want the community to understand that they're always welcome to come to any of our campus locations, but specifically here in Moore County. We'd love to see you come and visit. And those adults who are thinking about creating an opportunity to go back to school, we're that gateway to the next skill set that you need. The high school students and middle school students are thinking about their future. We're your gateway to your hopes and dreams and aspirations. And we're committed to the success that you want to have, and we certainly want to be a part of that journey.
Very good. Well, and I think we're hopefully getting the message across that without the proper education and training, you're not going to be very successful. So get with it, folks. Well, with that, again, thanks, Dr. Torrence, for being with us. And,
thank you.
We want to thank you, folks, for inviting us into your parlor, and we will see you next time.